friends, Jennifer Jennings, your online real estate advice columnist. Got some questions in that we're definitely going to cover here in a minute, but remember, if you have any questions, just email me at heyjenrealtor@gmail.com. This is a pretty interesting one, and it's one that I actually hear a lot, so I'm glad that we're going to get to cover it. It says, hey Jen, what's the difference between option money and earnest money? So there's a big difference in between these two. I like to think about it in terms of one of my favorite pastimes, which is kind of like gambling. Love to go to the casino, play a little blackjack. And if someone told me, hey, Jen, if you bet $100, then that would protect $1,000. And I guarantee you that if you pay this, you're going to be able to protect this. That's kind of what earnest and option money is. What you're doing in your contract is you're paying an additional amount over your earnest money to have additional time to be able to terminate a contract. So I'm going to pay $100 to be able to get back this $1,000 in earnest money. And listen, I'm just playing with money right now. I don't have a lot of cash laying around the house, so 100 to 1,000 may not exactly be what we're talking about. You could be 250 to protect 5,000. It just depends on what you negotiate in your contract. But for purposes of the illustration, I'm using $100 of the option money to protect $1,000 of the earnest. Now, here's what those things are for. So the earnest money and the option money, if in Texas you move forward to the completed sale of the contract, you get them both back. So if you buy the house, you get all that money back. But if you terminate the contract within that termination time period that your real estate agent will negotiate for you, then all you lose is the $100. You can terminate in the contract for any reason. This is another thing that's misunderstood with our contract here in Texas. It is an unrestricted right to terminate. So you can literally decide, I just don't want to buy the house anymore, and you don't even have to give a reason. You just changed your mind. You had a premonition. You found out that the dogs next door were barking way too much and you don't want to live next door to people with dogs that bark. Okay, terminate the contract. But most of the time, what you're going to do is use that time period to have inspections. So you're a real estate agent and you will work together, get an inspector to come through, look at the house, and you can see, you know what, there's really nothing wrong with the house. I'm good. Let's go ahead and move forward. Or you can use that termination time period to renegotiate with the sellers any repairs that you feel like need to be done. And they're really repairs that you would that would prohibit you from purchasing the home if they're not addressed. So if the house needs a new roof and you went under contract and you didn't know that the house needed a new roof, and then inside your option period you find out that it does, and the seller say, yeah, great, we'll replace it, no problem. You move forward, you get your $100 and your earnest money back when it's time to close on the house. But if the seller says, no, we're not replacing the roof, we just replaced it, so there's a little hail damage, we're not going to replace the whole roof just because of that, then you give the seller the $100 and then you get to keep $1,000 that you took to the title company. In some instances, the title company is going to want to make sure that the inspections are paid for out of the earnest money. If you've paid for the inspections already, then the title company will just go ahead and release all the money to you. So that's kind of the difference in what an option fee is and what your earnest money is. If you have any questions that you want me to address, just email them my way at heyjenrealtor@gmail.com.